In the mid to late 1970s, a new disease was discovered. A diagnosis of AIDS was, at the time, considered a death sentence. It is believed that by 1980 it had spread to 5 continents and had infected as many as 300,000 people. It would soon be a worldwide epidemic.
This is a collection that was created by John Burton Harder. John was actually a donor and volunteer of No AIDS Task Force. This is a collection of individuals that he knew, and it's labeled the AIDS Wall. All have since passed away, I believe, and the assumption just based on the name is that it's of individuals that were living with HIV.
No AIDS Task Force was founded in 1983 in response to the early devastating effects of the AIDS epidemic in the New Orleans area. The task force is one of the oldest HIV/AIDS service organizations in the Gulf South. Over the past 35 years, the agency has created a continuum of supportive services to assist people affected and infected by HIV.
The organization's legacy is, of course, working in HIV and AIDS, particularly around HIV prevention, case management, support and care for people living and coping with HIV. In 2013, we became a federally qualified health center, and then in 2014, brought on a new brand name of Crescent Care, a name that would denote more of the holistic care that's provided to many people in the community.
Originally founded as the No AIDS Task Force in 1983, Crescent Care provides a variety of crucial and life-saving services to those living with HIV. Telephone hotlines, community outreach, condom distribution, HIV antibody testing and counseling, buddy and companion program, case management, substance abuse and mental health counseling, and support groups. And the list of services continues growing to fit the ever-changing needs of the community.
After Katrina, the organization went through a very difficult time. With all of our staff being displaced outside of New Orleans, we could not provide those services. So we realized that we may have to go ahead and shut down the organization, at least the staff that were in the New Orleans area. We were very fortunate in that that didn't have to happen through a lot of things that happened very rapidly. First of all, we had organizations around the country that were hosting drag shows and sending us money from the drag shows, but that amounted to $200 or $300 at a time. We were very fortunate to have relocated during the time we couldn't be here in the Houston area, and I was able to link up with an organization in Houston. It's now called Legacy Community Health Center. And the executive director, Katie Caldwell, made sure that I had a space to work. And during that time, when I mentioned to her that I think I needed to shut down the organization, at least what was in New Orleans, she actually took it upon herself to meet with the board, and she came in one day and said, "Noel, I need to talk with you. Our board met last night and they agreed to pay your salary and benefits for up to 6 months because you have to be there to go back to New Orleans and rebuild the organization."
The mission of No AIDS Task Force is to reduce the spread of HIV infection, provide services, advocate empowerment, safeguard the rights and dignity of HIV-affected individuals, and provide for an enlightened public. The organization's goals and objectives focus on continuing to offer programs and services which provide HIV prevention education and support services for individuals living with HIV disease. In 2013, the No AIDS Task Force became a federally qualified healthcare provider and changed its name to Crescent Care.
I think we all have difficulty dealing with change, and change continues to happen with this organization. I think for some individuals, the change may have been an opportunity to seek and access what we hope to be high quality, culturally humble care. For others, there might have been hesitancy to see a name change and see a change in the organization that was specifically working toward providing care, hope, and services for people living with HIV to now broadening a mission. I think by rote sometimes we talk about cultural competency, trying to gain an understanding of another individual, trying to meet a person where they are. It's an ongoing process, and I don't know that we'll ever be perfect at it. If I'm working towards something in a truly humble, caring fashion, I might get closer to that goal.
New cases of HIV/AIDS have declined in New Orleans in recent years. Education and awareness play a role, as does pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP. PrEP is a daily medication that prevents 90% of sexual transmissions and 70% of injection transmissions of HIV infection. Crescent Care not only offers PrEP, but also a needle exchange program and substance abuse counseling. The fight against HIV/AIDS continues, and Crescent Care is leading the charge.